Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. It's great to have you on the channel as usual. We're going to be looking at your winter storm outlook. Yep, winter may try to come back come the end of the month, beginning of April. We'll also take a look at your severe weather outlook. We're looking at a much stormier time of it across eastern North America. And also be taking a look at the tropics here across the western Atlantic, Caribbean, and Central America. See what trouble spots and where the heaviest rain could fall. Let's get into it. And severe weather for your Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening, all the way from Florida, northern Florida, Tampa, Jacksonville, all the way up into the Carolinas, including places like Virginia Beach, Raleigh, Durham, even up to Washington, D.C. This is where I wanted to focus on. Look at the enhanced risk across western Pennsylvania, western New York, extreme eastern Ohio. Damaging wind, large hail, isolated tornadoes. And tornado threat is running elevated across western Pennsylvania. In particular, things are going to continue to get damaging and dangerous through the early to mid to late afternoon into the early evening hours of Sunday. So watch this. Our convective elements with this system as we head through time. Look at that. Eastern Ohio as we head just after lunch into western Pennsylvania. We're going to see a squall line take effect also down in through parts of the deep south here. We're going to be looking at that possibility of a squall line moving through parts of Florida here, central Florida, all the way up the coastline here. This is towards 10 p.m. on Sunday evening, so getting to the Outer Banks as well around 3 a.m. Look at that solidifying. Now, as we go up into the northeast, this is where the real dynamics are going to be with this enhanced risk. You can see those individual cells out ahead of it as we head through Sunday afternoon. This is going to be a really big risk of a damaging wind event as we head through Harrisburg up to Binghamton and Syracuse, pushing through you around 6 or 7 p.m. Going to be a very bad time of it. That squall line moves to the Catskills, Poconos. The only good news is it looks like it's going to weaken as it heads to the east here, but we still get some beneficial rain out of it here. So watch out. Some of these stronger cells, even gusty showers, could bring those heavy winds down to the surface. We're not looking at a major damaging wind event, but some of these areas could see some isolated gusts above 50 and 60 miles an hour. So watch out. And as we head into 10 a.m. on Monday morning, you can see that heavier rain pushing up across eastern Massachusetts all the way up to eastern Maine and New Brunswick, and that squall line pretty much off the coast by this point. As we look at that significant tornado parameter value here, especially as we get early to mid-afternoon into the late afternoon hours across western New York, western Pennsylvania, very concerned. It is a low threat, but some of these areas getting up towards the green, that's where the value gets up towards that 1 to 2. So watch out. Still concerned about tornado threat here into parts of the east. So looking quickly with our snowfall on the backside of the system, yeah, this is where we're going to see those snowfall pile up around Chicago, northern Michigan in particular here on the backside of the system, out of the warm sector. We do get some wet snow mixing in around Cleveland on early Monday morning. That pushes into western New York, western Pennsylvania as we get some wet snow mixed in with some light rain along interior northeast. You can see as we stretch through into Tuesday, we don't see any threat of snow unless you're in the northern plains, parts of Nebraska, and South Dakota. Let's look at our mesoscale model for wind. As we head throughout the day, yeah, it's quite a bit stronger here on our NAM 3 kilometer. You can see 40, 50, even these yellow areas, 60 mile per hour wind gusts as we head throughout Sunday evening into Sunday night. Look at those winds pulling north towards New York City, Atlantic City, these areas. So it would only take, it's not going to be like widespread everywhere, but a gusty shower or thunder shower or even a thunderstorm could help bring those heavier winds to the surface as we head early Monday morning. Look at this. Some of these areas, you have the potential we could get into those 60 mile an hour gusts in some of these areas as it pulls off the coastline here. All right, so picking up where our future radar left off as we continue throughout the week here, you can see that system moving off the East Coast. We're going to look at our storm watch here, see what the next system's going to bring. So right around the middle of the week, as we head through the 19th into the 20th, you can see a classic Colorado low, 986 millibar low blasting up west of Chicago. That puts you in the warm sector, heavy snow on the back side of it. You can see all the way down to Illinois. Yep, it's going to be another severe weather outbreak with this cold front pushing across the south. So as we head from late Wednesday into Thursday, watch out. It goes from rain to snow in Cleveland here, maybe an inch or two in these snowbelt areas picking up. And then look at that. That tries to go coastal on us. GFS still showing a potential snowstorm for central and eastern New England. Look at this. We'll keep an eye on it here. could you actually pick up snow, heavy snow from Rhode Island, eastern Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine? We'll keep an eye on it here. It just takes a little bit cold air this time of year, especially if this is going to occur at night, away from the diurnal heating of the sun here. And then high pressure building in behind it. Look at this through the 23rd into the 24th. Those few systems become rather light. But got to watch this around the 24th. We do have some severe weather potential across parts of the south here, stretching up with some beneficial rain here into the northeast. This doesn't look like a very well-organized system. Several areas of low pressure do develop along it. So this could bring some very beneficial rain through the mid-Atlantic into the northeast here. So we'll keep an eye on it here through the 26th. Maybe some wet snow on the backside of this, even into northern parts of Maine, New Brunswick, southern Quebec. I'll be getting into that several minutes from now in my Canadian weather outlook. But look at that. On the backside of this, some lake-enhanced snow showers. But the most important thing is we head through the 29th to 30th. Looks like most of the rain snow line is further north into Canada until we get to this system on the 30th. We're starting to trend colder with this system, the northern side of it. From the northern plains to the northern part of the Ohio Valley into the eastern Great Lakes could be snow to mixed precipitation. Cleveland right on that edge, changing over to rain. But you can see that rain snow line pushing north through March 31st into April 1st. I just wanted to briefly touch again on this system with the GFS. Look at this. If this verifies around the 25th and the 26th, this is a 988 millibar low. It's quite possible on the backside of this, we could see that heavy wet snow pile up, especially the higher elevations. This is a development we're going to have to keep an eye on. So let's take a look at the European model here. We'll compare it here to our GFS run. So as we continue in time throughout the week, really quiet through midweek here, there's our next Colorado low pulling across the plains, 987 to 989 millibar low. Watch out, we could have severe weather as far north as Chicago here into Michigan. On the north side, that's where you're going to see those heavy snow conditions. Watch this, though. Through Thursday, we could have a big squall line moving through parts of Ohio all the way down to the Gulf Coast here. So that gets into western Pennsylvania, midday Thursday, pulling up across upstate New York and quickly changing to some wet snowflakes on the backside of it. Watching this with the GFS model showing some chance that on the backside of this system we could see some heavy wet snow into parts of New England. So watch out. This may go coastal on us and pull some of those snowflakes down. We'll keep an eye on it here throughout the week. Unfortunately, Monday, March 24th, the European is hinting at a massive severe weather outbreak across parts of the deep south, again, stretching to the east here, Gulf Coast areas. Yeah, we could have quite a bit in the way of development here in the eastern Gulf, watching the squall line pushing north and that cutoff low here into the Ohio Valley just pulling up through the eastern Great Lakes. It doesn't look too terribly strong, but it's actually going to pull up some convective elements here into parts of New York and Pennsylvania. Look at this, a squall line through central Pennsylvania all the way down through parts of Florida. Watch out. This is going to have some wind with it as well, with those isobars packed really close together, and a squall line all the way up into New Hampshire and Maine. That's quite remarkable. That pulls into the Canadian Maritimes. You see this trough setting up, little troughs, almost like Clipper-type systems moving through right around the 28th and the 29th, hinting it's a little bit of coastal development here. But our bigger system, this is the one the GFS hinted further south, right around this area, the low pressure with frozen on the north side of it. Look how farther to the north the European is across South Dakota, pulling much warmer air further to the north. All right, so we'll take a look at total precipitation amounts here at the liquid equivalent variety. As we just head throughout the rest of the weekend, you can see the eastern seaboard here. That's where you're getting upwards of close to 1.5 inches to maybe 3 inches here, eastern North Carolina, all the way up to Cape Cod. And then as we head throughout the new week, we get another system later this week, mid to late week here, dropping another inch or two on top of that. And the storm patterns really active along the eastern seaboard. This would be very welcome in many areas here because of the drought situation. So this we will actually say yes to here, 2 to 4 inches with those yellow zones, 4 to maybe 4.5 inches. And let's just flip over to the European model, make sure we have the correct one here. There we go. So here it is. Liquid equivalent precipitation amounts as we head throughout the week here. There's our first storm exiting by Monday into Tuesday. There's those rainfall amounts, 3/4 to 1.5 inches. Another storm system as we head Thursday into Friday of this week, adding additional 1 to 1.5 inches. And then look at that, towards the 25th of March, we get a surge of moisture up the eastern coast. This would be very welcome in some of these areas, getting upwards of 2 to 4 inches, locally higher to 4 to 5 inches. So what are we looking for snowfall amounts here? Well, yeah, Chicago all the way up to the northern part of Michigan here as we round out the weekend into early part of the week. Some of these areas in northern Michigan up to 6-7 inches. But then we get another storm mid to late week. Look at back east, though, almost nothing. We get a little bit of spritzels of snow here into the interior northeast early next weekend. But look at this as we head through. Yeah, the European is hinting at something around the 28th, 29th. It looks mostly lake enhanced through the eastern lakes here, but some of these areas, even into northern New England here, could get upwards of 6-8 inches. But the snow belts here, northeast Ohio up to northwestern Pennsylvania, western New York, that's where we're looking at, these snow belts kind of opening up towards the end of the month. And let's take a look at our GFS. What do we have going on? Similar scenario. The storm track, those Colorado lows keep the snow bottled up over the northern Midwest here. This little feature, look at this. This is right around the 21st and the 22nd. The backside of that system, they're hinting that we could see, a system here on the, cold air filtering in on a coastal low. We'll go over that, of course, with the storm track. But there it is. As we head through the end of the month, kind of indications we could be seeing lots of snow here in the Midwest and plains. We'll keep an eye on it, but this looks like 1 to 2 feet, maybe 3 feet in some of these locations, upwards of 2 to 3 feet. So we'll keep an eye on it interior northeast as well through the end of the month. So looking at our European upper air analysis here it is. So we get a little trough pinwheeling off the southeast coast Monday into Tuesday. Look at the Firecracker Ridge taking over, though. This is going to be the big story. But we do get that storminess right around next week. Thursday into Friday, we get that negatively tilted trough with that storm system. A bigger trough is being hinted right around Thursday, the 27th into the 28th. Look at that across the northeast, but quickly being replaced the 31st right around the end of the month, Firecracker Ridge. So here it is with the GFS pattern. Firecracker Ridge much of this week until we get to about Friday, that East Coast trough really kicking in. Longer term, as we take a look at the GFS, right around the 26th, 27th, a little bit quicker than the European bringing that trough through. But look at this. Yeah, we're going to start seeing these big systems out here in the plains with ridging along the U.S. East Coast. And here we go, Lucas D. from Linden, Texas. Take a look at these moon eclipse photos here from just the other day. This was Thursday night, headed really early Friday morning, actually. And it was quite a sight to behold here. As you can see, look at that nice red moon. He captured a lot of good ones. He said he had to delete a lot of, not so great ones. Of course, when you're taking pictures of these eclipses, you get good ones and bad ones. But this is definitely a really good one here. Look at that. You can see it off in the distance as well, right in the center of your screen. There it is, showing up as a big ball of red with just a slight tinge of light on the northern side with that eclipse going on. But there it is, really zoomed in nice. These are some beautiful photos. As usual, Lucas D captures some of the best eclipses I've seen out there. So look at that, looking really nice across the area. These are not the easiest to take photos of. You have to have the right settings and everything. But look at that, looking just beautiful with that bright side of the moon. Overall, just very beautiful, nice eclipse photos. Nice captures there, Lucas. As always, thank you for sharing those with us there, because a lot of us weren't able to get, especially these kind of photos. Nice captures. And Rubber Stone from the Jamestown, New York area. Look at this. His neighbor actually capturing this photo. It just looks like that classic, that eclipse, that blood moon, so to speak. Look at how nice that is. Very nice. Thank you for sharing that, Robert. That looks like also a very nice, perfect eclipse with that really reddish moon. So if we take a look at the NAO index here, look what's going on. We are getting parity pretty much as we go from slightly negative to neutral through the end of the month. And the MJO index showing something very interesting here. We're right in phase 2. We are propagating towards right in the center of all the phases here. So at this point, it looks like anything will go. It looks like maybe trending towards phase 7 or 8 by the end of the month here. So we'll keep an eye on it. That usually means more active conditions in eastern North America. And our Polar Vortex Watch here. Yeah, we got a little bit here in the northern plains, a little bit of a cell that broke off. There's the Polar Vortex across northern Europe. That's going to wobble to the westward here. You do see these colors out west across the Rockies as we head through time. That is what we're looking at. If we just extend this out beyond where we can see it, look at this. As we head through the end of the month, do we see any of those cells breaking off here? Well, not too much in that variety. As you can see here, that cell across Northern Europe. It's right around March 27th, though. Here it is. It starts to pinwheel towards the British Isles. Look at this little break off here with these colder colors, these bluish colors heading across eastern, central, and western Canada. That does try to make a run for the U.S. East Coast. But you can see in time the cell over Northern Europe, the polar vortex, really filling in with all these warmer colors. So that will indicate Western Europe more closer to the polar vortex with pieces of it dropping up. But we still have to watch out for a chance that this could split and head across eastern North America as we head through early April. And before we continue with more weather coverage here, if you made it this far in the video and you like it, smash that like button, everyone. It really does help. Question or comment down below. I'd love to read your questions or comments. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe bell notification button so you're alerted with all my future weather video updates. Let's continue. And taking a look at our tropical update here, how is everyone doing down in the Caribbean, Central America, the Western Atlantic, all the Caribbean islands here? We're watching this weird system northeast of the Caribbean islands. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. It looks like it's going to stay away, but it's just resembling something almost subtropical in nature here as we go through the 18th and 19th. Don't want to take away from attention to this frontal boundary that'll be moving through Belize, northern Honduras, and eventually the southeastern Bahamas as we go through the 18th into the 19th. So we get towards the middle of the week, we could be looking at some scattered showers through parts of northern Honduras, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, through Puerto Rico. This pushes quickly to the east, however, as this system becomes a cutoff low and looks a little bit strange again. We're going to have these systems cutting off and resembling almost something subtropical. We do have the next front that will be moving through the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to be pressing to the south and east come late week. Some scattered showers across the Lesser Antilles, Virgin Islands. And one feature in particular, we'll be watching two major features here. First, this frontal boundary, and then this area of low pressure around Colombia. That's going to spin tropical moisture towards the north and west here. How far to the south does this frontal boundary make it? Well, by next weekend, right around the 22nd into the 23rd, it washes out just to the north. And then we see what we have is a tropical moisture belt extending across parts of Central America all the way up through the northeast Caribbean islands. And then we start to see the easterly trade winds really take over with these scattered showers and focusing some moisture here into Central America as well. Right around the 22nd into the 23rd, we do start to see more heavier shower action from Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, and Puerto Rico. This pushing in from the east-southeast. But watch this, through the 25th into the 26th, we do have a much stronger frontal boundary across the southeastern Gulf here. We'll keep an eye on it as that's going to push deep tropical moisture through the Bahamas, Belize, and eventually northern Honduras. That moves just to the north of the north central Caribbean islands. But there is going to be a return flow. Watch this tropical moisture get pulled up. We could be looking at some heavier downpours around Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, right around the 27th into the 28th. And there's our last frame. You can see where the most active showers are in this band. Thanks to Tropical Tidbits here for our European model analysis here of the tropics. So as we head through time, very similar to the GFS, we have that cold front moving through parts of the Northwest Caribbean, Belize, Guatemala, these areas. Look, there's that weird area of low pressure just hanging out northeast of the Caribbean islands, southeast of Bermuda here. That's going to continue to just spin out here and weekend and be absorbed by this westerly trough here. But look at this. European showing rainfall on the north coast of Honduras all the way to Jamaica. This is Tuesday, March 18th here. So we'll see how quickly this can get to the east, but it does start to become moisture starved by the time it reaches Dominican Republic. So maybe just a few showers on early Wednesday morning before pulling off towards Puerto Rico. This also becoming a very strange area of low pressure. You do look by Thursday. Look how dry it is across much of the Caribbean. Although these are the early morning hours, you tend to get those pop-up showers and thunder showers throughout the afternoon. But it does look like the northern Lesser Antilles here through the Virgin Islands. That's where you'll see some of the heavier downpours Friday and into Saturday next weekend. Look at this little frontal boundary. It kind of stalled south of Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. We do have another boundary just to the north here we'll be keeping an eye on. Central America does look pretty dry here. And extending the European out further here, you can actually see what's going to be happening. We do have a low pressure over Colombia right around Saturday, March 22nd. That's going to pinwheel. Look at this moisture fanning out towards Nicaragua and Honduras. So that last full week of March, we're going to be watching tropical moisture. Also across the northern Caribbean islands, this is going to be your week where things start to really moisten up here. You can see the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Haiti, and Jamaica through the Cayman Islands. Look at this mess across the Eastern Gulf. Could that be something subtropical trying to go? Well, it looks like it's associated more with the frontal boundary as it heads through South Florida, the northern Bahamas here. But we'll keep an eye on it here. Stranger things have happened in the hurricane seasons the last couple of years outside of the main hurricane season. Look at these scattered showers, though, developing through March 26 here. Looking very interesting, that cold front just moving to the north. But you can see showers across the north central Caribbean islands through March 28th to 29th. You get this frontal boundary. Look at this. Dominican Republic, they're Jamaica, northern Honduras, and Belize looking a little wet here as we head through the 30th, the 31st. You can see that front pushing down right towards Dominican Republic and Haiti, enhancing those showers. We are roughly, just less than 80 days away from hurricane season. We'll keep an eye on these sea surface temperatures. The western Atlantic through the Caribbean and Gulf, we're averaging out to about 1.5 to 3 degrees above average here. And liquid equivalent precipitation here across the Caribbean. Yeah, as we head through midweek, late week, all the way through next weekend, you can see Jamaica getting about an average of about 10 millimeters, 20 millimeters. Look at Dominican Republic, though, very dry and quiet here through Puerto Rico as well. Northern coastline of Honduras, southern Belize, you might get upwards of 70, 80, close to 100 millimeters here. But look at as we head, let's just take a look through the end of the month here. That last week of March, we may see things moistening up once again. Island of Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, especially the higher elevations, upwards of 40 to 60 millimeters on average here. Puerto Rico averaging out to a quarter to a half an inch of rain. East coast of Nicaragua, north coast of Honduras here, not looking really impressive. So actually the trend is drier. Jamaica, you'll eke out over a 2 to 2.5 week period about 25 to 30 millimeters on average. The eastern part of Jamaica could average out to 70 millimeters. Wetter here in the northern Bahamas. And if we take a look at the western Atlantic here, eastern Caribbean, similar situation. Puerto Rico's pretty dry this week with the exception for maybe up to a quarter inch. Not much though. But then it's towards Monday, March 24th. Look at that. Things start to moisten up across the northeast Caribbean islands here on that northeast flow. So there it is. Even the Lesser Antilles getting upwards of 60 to 80 millimeters on average here. So this northeast flow with these southeast trade winds, we're going to get that moisture ringing out here. And here for your Canadian weather outlook. Let's take a look here. We're looking at rain across most of Quebec, eastern Ontario, northeastern Ontario in particular. That's where we'll see the heavy wet snow. Watching it, a parade of systems out west here towards British Columbia, these Pacific systems. As we head through midweek, Tuesday into Wednesday, look at this. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, we see some rainfall with some mixed precipitation up here in the Canadian Maritimes. But look at the rain-snow line pretty far to the north here into Quebec and southern Ontario, keeping most of the populated areas into the rain with heavy wet snow on the northeast side and northwest side of the system, that pushing up towards the Canadian Maritimes. Out west, we just continue to see this flow off the Pacific. That's going to be the mountain snow valley rain there continuing. Now watch this. We do have a chances of few coastal systems, mostly in the form of rain, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. But look at that. Prince Edward Island northward, we could see some heavy mixed precipitation. Eventually, we'll have to watch it here. Western Nova Scotia through New Brunswick. We may see some heavy wet snow on the backside of this major nor'easter type event here. And we'll keep an eye on it here as that pushes up towards the Canadian Maritimes and then eventually another system towards the United States as we stretch through. Here it is, a coastal low on the 26th into the 27th. We could see this big storm wind up across the northeast here. So we'll keep an eye on it here. Quebec, all the way up into the Canadian Maritimes, more chances of snow. And as we get towards the 29th into the 30th, you see a pattern here setting up. Parts of southeast Canada look snowier as we head through the end of the month here. It's particularly this one right around the 30th. Some heavy wet snow around New Brunswick, north of Nova Scotia there, Prince Edward Island. And then another big storm from the United States bringing even the rain snow line further south into places like Ottawa, Toronto, and Montreal. So you want to take a look at the snowfall amounts here we're looking at. If we get the correct one, there it is. All right, so eastern Ontario, northern Quebec, as we head through early week here with that system. Another system ejecting from Colorado all the way up to eastern Ontario, northern Quebec, bringing more snowfall in the order of a total of 30 centimeters on average, close to 50 in some of those areas. And then we see, look at this, longer term, we go through April 1st. We're starting to kick the snow back across southeastern Canada. Some areas approaching 30 to as much as 60 centimeters. We'll keep an eye on it here. And taking a look at temperatures here, this is going to be the big story once again. We got a cool down on Monday across parts of the Ohio Valley and lakes northeast, still above average, but it's a little bit of a return to reality. But watch how quickly this next warming spell takes over as we head throughout the week. You can see Tuesday, March 18th here. We have that surge to 70s and 80s into the plains. Look at 60s here into the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. Even 70s down here, parts of the Carolinas. As we head towards Wednesday, March 19th here, you can see that surge all the way up to 76 in Pittsburgh, 68 in Cleveland, 69 in Rochester, New York. Holding on to some 50s and 60s here into the Mid-Atlantic. But look at those 70s all the way up into the parts of the Carolinas here. You can see where that frontal boundary is. It's ushering in those 40s by late week. Thursday, Ohio into western New York, dropping down to the 40s. And look at that pivot, that colder air, 30s in interior parts of the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. As we head next Saturday, we don't actually have data with ours yet. I'll just leave you with Friday, March 21st. Extended forecast from our hometown viewers, bringing them to this Grand Upper Susquehanna River Valley, New York, and Pennsylvania. Watch out, some strong to severe thunderstorms, especially as we head through 4 to about 8 p.m. this evening. Watch out, damaging wind, large hail. Can't rule out an isolated tornado. The showers and thunderstorms continue tonight into Monday. Look at that. Monday, a much colder day, hovering right around 40, a little bit blustery. So watch the winds, especially Sunday into Sunday night. A little cut off after midnight, but gusts up to 30 to 40 miles per hour, 50 plus in some of those storms. As we head throughout the rest of the week, towards 60 on Tuesday, well into the 60s Wednesday, and we see that next storm system approaching Thursday night, maybe ending as a period of wet snow Thursday night into early Friday, only reaching 40 by Friday. And before we continue with more weather coverage, check out these amazing, awesome maps from my affiliate here.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks everyone. Share that video, subscribe if you haven't, smash that like button.